Yes, welcome everyone to the Lunch with IUFRO session at IUFRO World Day. My name is Christoph Wildburger. I'm the coordinator of IUFRO's Global Forest Expert Panels program, and I have the great pleasure of moderating this plenary session. Before we continue with the official program, I would like to share some short housekeeping announcements with you. This session will be recorded and made publicly available during and after IUFRO World Day. Screenshots will also be taken during the session and used for communicating about the event. In case you would like to prefer to remain anonymous, please turn off your camera and rename yourself. In case you're interested in sharing your own posts via social media, please use the hashtag IUFROWorldDay. And of course, we encourage very much that you post your social media posts. I'm also pleased to introduce Maximilian Wagner to you, who will provide technical support throughout this session. In case you have difficulties of technical nature, please send a message via the chat box and he will assist you. Now, let us start the program with a toast by the President. If you have a drink next to you, we welcome you to join in the toast by switching on your camera and raising your glass with us at the end of the President's toast. And with that, I would now like to invite IUFRO President John Barotta to share some welcoming remarks with us. Please, John, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Christoph. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you today for this IUFRO World Day lunch session. I'd like to welcome all of our participants from around the world, but especially those who are joining us from North, Central, and South America, as well as the Caribbean, perhaps. I hope that you all have been enjoying the rich menu of presentations and discussions on today's program, organized by a variety of IUFRO. This IUFRO World Day is a unique event, the tremendous diversity and vitality of the IUFRO network. Because it's IUFRO's first ever global 24-hour online event, it's also a bit of an exciting experiment. It offers a great opportunity to introduce colleagues from around the world to IUFRO's global network for collaboration in forest science, and hopefully to inspire you to join us as we work together to help solve some of today's great environmental, social, and economic challenges. This event would not have been possible without the generous support provided by the Federal Ministry for Agriculture, Regions, and Tourism of the Republic of Austria, the host country of our IUFRO headquarters. For this support, we are sincerely grateful. The impressive numbers of sessions and wealth of information that has been organized and provided by IUFRO divisions, task forces, special programs, and projects, as well as IUFRO member organizations for this event is truly amazing. I would also like to thank all of you who have contributed to the program today, as well as the more than 2,500 colleagues and friends who have registered to participate. Why is this event so important? I don't need to tell any of you, that this past year and a half have been an extraordinarily challenging time for everyone. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, large physical conferences, workshops, and training events, the activities that IUFRO has traditionally relied upon to catalyze international collaboration, have not been possible. This has limited the opportunities, especially for younger scientists and students, to become acquainted with and involved in the full range of IUFRO's exciting and important work. But we have risen to the challenge. IUFRO's divisions, task forces, and special programs have made extraordinary and successful efforts to continue our networking activities through dozens of virtual conferences, webcasts, and workshops. This event, IUFRO World Day, is a further expression of our commitment not only to maintain our networking, but to expand it by providing an opportunity for many more scientists and students to get involved. I especially welcome the young and early career scientists who have joined us today. IUFRO provides an essential platform for voluntary research collaboration and the sharing of experiences and insights among forest scientists worldwide. Such collaboration accelerates the pace of research and the development of locally adapted solutions to the wide range of forest-related challenges currently facing the world. I know from my own personal experience the value of getting involved in IUFRO as an early career scientist. Back in the early 1990s, I was a young researcher working for the US Forest Service on the island of Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. At that time, there were relatively few forest scientists, or so I thought, who shared my interest in how planted forests could be used to rehabilitate degraded lands and restore functioning forest ecosystems. At that time, a senior colleague of mine proposed a new IUFRO unit on tropical forest restoration and asked me to coordinate it. Now, in those days, there was no social media, no internet even. So I proceeded to write letters. Remember those? To colleagues who I did not even know, but whose work in various countries around the world I had read about in scientific journals. The response was fantastic. Before I knew it, in this new IUFRO unit, this newly established IUFRO unit had something like 60 members from all parts of the world, particularly from Latin America, from various African countries, from Asia, from Australia, from everywhere. And we were organizing conferences, conducting joint research projects, and co-authoring publications for peer-reviewed journals. And that was just the beginning. IUFRO changed my life. It enriched my career and introduced me to colleagues from around the world who have since become great friends. And it could happen to you too. So in the next roughly 2 hours, let us enjoy a Lunch with IUFRO session and get a taste of what IUFRO has to offer. I invite you all to raise your glasses and toast to the IUFRO network and all it has to offer, to us as scientists and to the world that needs science-based solutions to solve global forest-related challenges. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, John. Yes, thank you very much, John, especially for sharing your own experiences in your career with IUFRO, and also for helping us to get a drink during our working time. On this high note, it's my pleasure now to invite a very honorable guest. As many of you know, IUFRO headquarters are located in Vienna, in Austria. And IUFRO's core activities are generously supported by the host country, Austria, on an ongoing basis. In addition to this, IUFRO World Day has been made possible through financial support from this Austrian Federal Ministry for Agriculture, Regions and Tourism. We will now watch a video message by the Austrian Minister for Agriculture, Regions and Tourism, Elisabeth Köstinger. Please.
Dear participants and organizers of the IUFRO World Day, I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of the Republic of Austria as host country of IUFRO headquarters. The IUFRO World Day as a global digital forest science forum defies the challenges of the pandemic. It demonstrates new paths in showcasing the achievements of forest-related research. We rely on science and research, especially at the critical point in time, as we are not only facing a global pandemic, but also several consequences of climate change. This is the reason I recently initiated the Austrian Forest Fund supporting our forests with 350 million euros. The investments of this forest fund are dedicated to the future of climate-smart, diverse and resilient forests. I'm very happy that you're here today. It's a world exposition for forest-related science organizations as well as a platform for researchers and stakeholders to meet and talk. It also aims to have an active exchange of knowledge, especially invites young scientists to take an active role. The support of young professionals, and especially women in forestry, is one of my priorities. We organized the first ever virtual conference on forests in women's hand this spring, which was a huge success. From all around the world, we brought forest practitioners, scientists and stakeholders together. Connecting people and scientists is crucial in developing sound and evidence-based policy options and support. The key forest issues such as forest and water interactions, forest-based bioeconomy and living with wildfires under a changing environment will be part of the next sessions. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the outcome of your sessions and wish you successful and good discussions. All the best.
Thank you very much, Minister Köstinger, for addressing our IUFRO audience worldwide today. Dear participants, the next item on our menu for our IUFRO lunch is the Mixed World Day platter, which will provide a brief orientation to IUFRO. Let us begin by watching a 3-minute video on IUFRO.
Forests and trees are diverse and complex and cover about 1/3 of the world's land base. They grow in different climates and environments and on different soils. They come in all shapes and sizes, in groups or alone, have different needs and offer various goods and services. The livelihoods of more than 1/4 of the Earth's population depend on forests. This is why scientists worldwide want to know more about forests and trees. They want to understand exactly how they grow, what makes them healthy, and how to use them. And they want to help them cope with impacts from an increasing world population and climate change. As forests and trees are often at risk of being harmed or lost. For these scientists, the International Union of Forest Research Organizations, IUFRO, has developed a global network for voluntary cooperation, open to all individuals and organizations dedicated to forest and forest products research and related disciplines. It offers opportunities to meet, work together, exchange ideas, access information, and present findings. This avoids duplication, fosters scientific excellence, and increases the visibility of research. Scientists, like forests, are very diverse. They have different interests and needs and work in different environments. IUFRO provides a convenient structure where they can fit in perfectly. 9 divisions with their research groups and working parties are the backbone of this structure. They cover overarching forest-related themes such as silviculture, management, genetics, pests and diseases, economics or social and policy issues. For cross-cutting key topics, IUFRO establishes task forces. IUFRO also offers capacity building for researchers from economically disadvantaged countries. It seeks to strengthen education on forests and increase cooperation with related scientific disciplines and stakeholder groups. IUFRO participates in global policy processes and provides scientific analyses for decision makers, always with a view to reaching the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Currently, IUFRO unites more than 15,000 scientists in almost 700 member organizations in 125 countries. Together, they contribute to the knowledge needed to ensure that all people benefit now and in future years from the economic, social, and environmental goods and services forests and trees provide. IUFRO, interconnecting forests, science, and people.
As you have seen, IUFRO interconnects forest, science, and people. And I would now like to share a bit more detail about exactly how this works. And for that, I want to share my screen with you, which I will do now. Yes, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, great. If you have any questions during the talks, please post your questions in the chat. We will address them as far as time allows during the session. And in addition, myself and other staff members will also be available for a chat during the coffee and cake with divisions segment at the end of this session. First of all, a short recap. IUFRO is a global, non-profit, non-governmental, and non-discriminatory scientific organization. There are 9 divisions, 9 task forces, and 4 special programs and projects in which more than 600 voluntary office holders are active. Every year, over 70 IUFRO meetings are held, and IUFRO was founded in 1892. It means it's a very old scientific organization, one of the oldest, and its headquarters is based in Vienna, Austria. IUFRO's divisions are the best entry point into IUFRO for researchers. And the division cover following 9 research fields: silviculture, physiology and genetics, forest operation, engineering and management, forest assessment, modeling and management, forest products, social aspects of forests and forestry, forest health, forest environment, and forest policy and economics. Let's have a look at how to find IUFRO units that cooperate on a specific research issue in an issue that you get interested in. And let's say we choose pine wilt disease. Within each division, we have taken here Division 7, Forest Health as an example. There are research groups. And in the case of Division 7, Forest Health, the research groups are entomology and pathology. And each research group consists of working parties. So in this case here, we have to choose pathology as we're looking for pine wilt disease. And this research group of pathology consists of 11 working parties. And one such working party is the working party 7.2.10 on pine wilt disease. So that's how you find your way on the most interesting research group for you. If you want to get in touch with this working party, visit the IUFRO website, the section Science in IUFRO, and you find your working party of interest there. The respective working party webpage provides the names and contact details of the working party coordinators. Have a look at all kinds of information in the working party, like meetings, projects, publication, etc. And if you want to do so, please join the working party. In addition to the divisions, IUFRO does have programs and projects, and they are supporting science collaboration and the science policy interface. IUFRO's 4 programs and projects are the Special Program for Development of Capacities, called IUFRO SPDC, the Global Forest Expert Panels Program, in short GFEP, the Special Project on World Forests, Society and Environment, IUFRO WFSE, and the Special Program Directors Forum, IUFRO SPDF. Now, I would like to explain one of the special programs that might be of interest for you, which is the Special Program for Development of Capacity, IUFRO SPDC. IUFRO SPDC holds training workshops on subjects like scientific methods, research management, and science communication, and provides training resources online. Through its Scientist Assistance Program, provides support to early and mid-career forest scientists from economically disadvantaged regions to enable the participation in IUFRO conferences and workshops. And SPDC provides, via the Young Scientists Initiative, support to young researchers for short scientific visits to build research capacity and collaboration. Another of IUFRO SPDC's pillars is the thematic networking. Projects targeted at the forest science community to maximize impact on policy on the ground forest management. The mission of IUFRO SPDC is to expand and foster forest research capacity in economically disadvantaged countries. We would like to invite you. Please visit the IUFRO website and discover IUFRO. Look for IUFRO units under Science in IUFRO. Find out who is who and contact the office holders you're interested in. Participate in IUFRO co-sponsored events. Read and contribute to IUFRO publications, and become a member or become even an office holder in IUFRO. If you do so, if you become a member of IUFRO, you not only make global connections, but you will be eligible for IUFRO awards like the Scientific Achievement Award, the Outstanding Doctoral Research Award, the IUFRO Student Award for Excellence in Forest Science, and the Best Poster Award. If you become an IUFRO member, you are also benefiting from the support that IUFRO's SPDC program gives to members in economically disadvantaged countries to participate in IUFRO trainings and meetings. and you benefit from the reduced registration fee for members at the IUFRO World Congresses. The next IUFRO World Congress is taking place 2024 in Stockholm, Sweden, and we will hear about that later in detail. Joining IUFRO is really easy. I mean, you find the application form on the IUFRO website under membership. The membership fees for your member organization are moderate and take into account the financial situation of the economies, as well as the number of scientists employed. Everyone working for a member organization can enjoy the benefits. Memberships of individuals are also possible. So we do have associate members that are individual members. And with that, I thank you. And here are our contact details, as well as the information how to find us in the social media. And we're looking, of course, forward to hearing from you. Yes, I hope this has provided a useful orientation, and I look forward to meeting and discussing further in about 45 minutes in our divisions meeting and poster session after this full session here. And again, if you have any questions, please let us know and we will try to address them. Colleagues, the third course on today's menu is a smørgåsbord, an Scandinavian traditional meal. I now invite Professor Bjørn Hanel, the senior advisor, to make a short presentation about the IUFRO World Congress 2024 in Stockholm. Please, Bjørn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christoph. Then I shall try to share some slides with you.
Yes, please.
Oh, no. Oh, something is happening. Just a minute. I have it here. Why is it not?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me try again.
Okay, yes, please.
Let me try again. Oh my gosh, why is that?
I can take over if you want to.
Maximilian has your presentation.
Yes. Yeah, but I have my presentation here on the screen, and when I say share screen, it does not come up.
Bjørn, are you co-host? I think.
No, he has the right to share. Yes.
Yes, I have the right to share it. Well, I have my PowerPoint right here. I shall not open it before we share it, shall I? No.
Yes, you can. You should. Yes.
Okay, I do then. And then I go sharing.
Yes, and then you select the window that you want to share with the PowerPoint.
Yes, but it comes up something I've never seen. Portion of screen, computer, audio, video, content from second camera.
And there should be one of the windows should be the PowerPoint.
Now.
Okay.
Share. Thank you for bearing with me. It's a true honor for me to address you all here at this limitless IUFRO World Day event that gives us this chance to meet and connect. And I'm very happy to invite you to the next part of today's lunch session, which is served as a buffet. And as you've heard, it's a typical Swedish smørgåsbord with several dishes. And the buffet I'm going to present to you today is very tasty. It's enjoyable, it's exciting, and certainly worth traveling to. It's the upcoming IUFRO World Congress that will take place in the summer of 2024 in Stockholm, Sweden. And in the next couple of minutes, I will give you a sneak preview of the Congress and try my very best to encourage you to follow, join, and actively take part on the journey from where you are here and now to Stockholm in June 2024. And why do I want you to take active part in the IUFRO World Congress? Well, there are many good reasons. As you might already know, the IUFRO World Congress has a scientific core. You are obviously interested in science, and most likely, I would guess, the majority of you are working with science. But will your area of interest and expertise be included at the World Congress? For sure. The Congress title, Forests and Society Towards 2050, clearly indicate a very broad scope. It goes without saying that the Congress makes a unique platform for most of you interested in the future, whether you come from science, industry or business, government agencies, or from an NGO. We will focus on the forest contribution to the 2030 agenda and its 17 sustainable development goals. The broadness will be further expressed in the main Congress themes, and these are not yet finally decided on, but I will provide you with a draft. As you can see, we will focus on ways to strengthen the world's stressed forests, on forest bioeconomy, forest biodiversity and ecosystem services, and on forest for sustainable societies and forest for the future. So, one very good reason for you to join is to contribute with your expertise so that we together can help streamlining the forest research agendas. During the Congress Week in Stockholm, there'll be keynotes, plenary sessions, sub-plenary sessions, and thousands of presentations in technical sessions. You can influence the scientific program by sending a session proposal. A call for session proposals will be made at the 1st of June next year. You can give a presentation and we'll be happy to receive your abstract in the first half of 2023. The World Congress will give you an excellent opportunity to get a glimpse of and experience Northern Europe. There will be many in-Congress excursions to choose from, all starting from and ending in Stockholm. But you will also get the chance to get acquainted with our neighboring countries, since the Congress is not only a Swedish, but a common Nordic-Baltic effort. And we are proud to offer you a program of post-Congress tours to all of our strong partners: Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Norway. Let me tease you with some excursion titles. Forestry in a Treeless Land, to Iceland, of course. The Sandy Peninsula in the Baltic Sea goes to Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. From coast to coast, to Norway and Sweden. From tree to table, to South Sweden and Denmark. And finally, under the midnight sun, to northern Sweden and northern Finland. We hope you will find this program very hard to resist. And we organizers have a special wish. We would very much like you to join a dialogue on and to co-create with us on the future of global forests. Other important reasons for your participation in Stockholm is that it will give you a superb possibility to expand your professional network. And if you don't watch out, you can get friends for life. Happened to me. Although I now have expressed several motives for attending the IUFRO World Congress, I think the main reasons still might be left to be pointed out. The very same that have made me serve IUFRO for more than 20 years. And the reason is, it is great fun. Please keep yourself updated via the Congress website regarding calls for sessions and abstracts, as well as other exciting news. My final effort to win your World Congress heart is a video. It is less than 2 minutes long, so please stay on with me till the end of it. Before it starts, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope to meet you in Stockholm. Thank you. So Maximilian, would you please start the video?
Yes, thank you very much, Björn. This smorgasbord really sounds and looks delicious and
Good.
very promising. Looking forward to join it.
Thank you, Christoph.
We now have time for a couple of questions from the floor. If you have a question, please raise your hand or insert a note in the chat box. I'm just looking if somebody has raised his or her hand. Not so far. Are there any questions related to the IUFRO World Congress 2024 in Stockholm or any related questions? We would have some time now. If not, we just continue in our program, and you may ask any questions that you have also in the final segment of this session in the divisions meeting and the poster session. Yes, this concludes the segment of the Lunch with IUFRO session, and I'm now passing over the moderation over to my colleague Janice to guide us through the next item on the menu, which is related to youth. And she's definitely more useful than I am, so she will take over. Please, Janice.
Thank you, Christoph. Greetings to everyone. Good morning for your time zone mostly, I guess, and good afternoon, good evening. My name is Janice Burns. I'm the Thematic Networking Manager at IUFRO and also Deputy Coordinator of IUFRO's Special Program for Development of Capacities. It's a pleasure to moderate this youthful cuisine component of the Lunch with IUFRO plenary session. And during this component, we'll hear from 3 scientists at different career stages about their experience with IUFRO, after which we'll have 15 minutes for question and answers. So I would encourage all of you, if you have questions during the presentations, please just post them in the chat and we'll collect them and then we can address them together with the speakers in about 15 minutes from now. So it's my pleasure to give the floor to Veronica Löwe-Munoz, who is a project leader at the Chilean Forest Institute, to tell us about their experience with IUFRO. Veronica, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Janice. Just sharing the screen. One moment, please. It's okay. Wow. It's just, I need to.
You just need to start.
I'm having the problem just to upload the screen. Let one second. I'm trying to, because the buttons are covered. I'm not sure how to do this.
Do you need any help? I can share the screen for you if you want to.
I just have to have the full screen, but I cannot do it because it's covered with the screen. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Excellent, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. And sorry about the light issue. I am actually working on the field on an experimental field trial. And I was hesitating at the beginning when I got the invitation because I am not very young anymore, as you can see. But I did a bit late my PhD because of family issues, especially maternity. But I did my thesis between 2012 and 2016 at the University of Córdoba, Spain, is about the characterization of variability, growth, and production of stone pine in Chile, according to climate and some silvicultural practices. Just behind me here, you have an experimental trial of stone pine for pine nut production and also for truffle production. So we keep working on that. For this work, this thesis, I got the ODRA IUFRO award in 2019. And it was quite important for the connection in the scientific world, I think. And I wanted just to share that with you. Well, I should, okay. So since in the last years after my PhD completion, I became quite active in IUFRO. First of all, participating in the task force unlocking the bioeconomy for non-timber forest products. And in this group, we, with the colleague Claudia Delard, we are finishing a chapter of the book, the bioeconomy and non-timber forest products. It's about stone pine, nuts, and the emerging bioeconomy in Chile. I am participating in a webinar on this issue that will be the day after tomorrow. If anyone is interested, you can join it via Zoom. And also, I'm participating in the virtual forum and about the potential of non-timber forest products for the Latin America bioeconomy that will be held for the next 10 months. So it's a nice opportunity to exchange views and to try to build proposals for the area. I am also participating in 3 working parties. One is on the ecology and silviculture of chestnut, and there we are doing periodic meetings, and we are organizing a special issue of forest ecology and management. So if anyone is interested in presenting their results for any of the chestnut species, it will be very welcome. And the other working party is silviculture for edible non-wood forest products, in which we do also some meetings and information exchange. And finally, I'm also participating in this ecology and silviculture of mixed forest, in which especially I am participating in a triplet study that compares the growth in pure and mixed plantations in different species around the world. So it's quite interesting, and actually it's a possibility to network not only in a social but also and mainly in a scientific side, and that's important because, and especially during the pandemic, it's difficult to travel. Anyway, it's one option. It's a very good option too. Let me change the slide. It's not coming up. I don't know why it doesn't change. Here it is, it's a bit slow. So from my experience, participating in IUFRO can help in many ways. Networking, opportunities to connect to peers in other countries, and also to develop theses in interesting topics and with great teams around the world. So I would definitely encourage young scientists to join according to your interest and to be involved in the area you are interested in, and for sure it will be a good experience, good for your personal and career growth. And that's it. I have here a my contact, but hope it will show up. It's a bit slow.
Thank you so much, Veronica. In case it doesn't come up, we can ask you maybe just to drop your contact into the chat box for anyone who's interested. And I really want to thank you for joining and making this interesting presentation, Veronica. As you mentioned, you had some doubts at the start, but really it was so interesting actually to hear what you're doing. And I think there might be a lot of young people who don't yet have their PhD and are still considering the pathways forward, and to see really these concrete examples of different units and activities that you're doing in IUFRO. I think that's a really nice case that you present. So thank you very much. And we'll take questions after the next two presentations as a group.
It doesn't come up. I don't know why. Okay.
Now I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, to Jennifer Zavaleta-Cheek, who is currently an associate professor at South Dakota State University. And she could go ahead to share their experience with IUFRO. So Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much and welcome. It is so nice to meet new people and have the opportunity to network, as Veronica was saying. I have hope, I guess. I was going to tell you about what I do now, but I think it would be a bit disingenuous. Maybe I should start at the beginning, which is to say, I started as an undergrad studying government and international development. And it wasn't until I was writing my senior thesis that I realized, if I really want to affect the lives of people that are in these spaces in low and middle income countries, so many of them are natural resource dependent, then I need to start learning a lot more about ecology and environmental systems. So I graduated without a clue as to what I would do next, much to my parents' chagrin. And I ended up going to graduate school only because I started cold calling, which just means picking up the phone and dialing numbers until somebody was willing to take me on as a student. And even though it wasn't a fantastic fit, I was originally in agricultural education department. I quickly was able to move over to natural resource management only because a professor wrote on the top of my paper, "Come see me," and offered a job. And then the rest kind of fell into place. So in so many ways, I feel like I had a circuitous path of kind of bopping around from different fields. And I still maybe have a little imposter syndrome as identifying as a scientist or a natural scientist, because I don't do any of the bench sciences, never took organic chemistry, for example. But what I've learned is I've more advanced after getting a PhD, and now as an assistant professor at South Dakota State University, I've become to realize not only are studying sustainable development, especially the social, economic, and political aspects of forestry research, critical, it's also one of the places that I can truly contribute as a scientist, because there's so many ways to collect data, to analyze it, and then so importantly is to give that information back to the stakeholders that are in a position to change. So a lot of the research that I do is about sustainable development, and it's the interaction between the natural spaces that so many people on the call are so heavily invested in, but also learning about the peoples, the communities. And a lot of times now, as my role now is I'm leading all of the conservation planning and park management program. So I think about conservation planning and really thinking about what are the opportunities for us to create management plans that respect the integrity of the forest, but also recognize people's economic right and the human dignity surrounding alleviating poverty. So I am right there kind of in the middle of those two things. And with respect to what IUFRO has done for me, I'm falling into the same problem. Oh, wait. there. I was invited to be a part of this expert panel, and we just wrote a big report on the role of forest trees in eradicating poverty. And we also were able to translate that for a special issue that's just coming out right now on forest policy and economics. And I think I was the youngest person that was invited to be a part of this. I'll say it's probably in part who I was working for at the time, and they needed help. So I got to come in, and what was really great, or what I would encourage you all to do, is there were so many times where people thought, oh, I think we might need to write a few hundred words on this topic or that topic. And I remember thinking, I don't know anything about that topic, but I can Google it and I will figure it out, and I can write 250 words about it. So I guess I've now, through the experience with IUFRO and serving on this expert panel, and then learning how to work with more senior people, especially in academia, where deadlines really don't mean anything to a lot of people, especially the more senior people. I think there's a few people laughing about that, that it was just a really important networking opportunity, but also an opportunity to really try and figure out what role I want to have. And it is for sure something I'm interested in, is not just collecting the data and analyzing it, but helping coordinate teams of people so that science can be applicable and have a lot more meaning, especially as we think about how are we looking to the future beyond the Sustainable Development Goals. What is the role that forests, trees are going to have in that discussion? And given that there's the numbers, are always fluctuating, but billions of people depend on forests a year, and usually they're the most impoverished, that I hope to continue and would invite and encourage you all to reach out. I have a fantastic data set on diet in forests from India, and there's somebody out there that wants to work on a project and needs a data set. That's my cheap plug. I will be happy to put my contact information into the chat. Happy to answer questions, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Jen, for the really nice presentation and for bringing in a lot of other aspects, showing a different pathway into IUFRO, different opportunities that are available, and especially one thing we're all at IUFRO really passionate about, which is networking and building those connections with peers, also mentors, and having the opportunity maybe to be a mentor yourself at some point and help others out in their journey. With this, I would like to now give the floor to Sandra Rodriguez Piñeros, who is a professor at the Autonomous University of Chihuahua, Mexico, to share about their experience with IUFRO. Sandra, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm trying to share my screen here. Can you see it?
Yes, not yet full screen. Yes, now to work. Yes.
Nice. Hello, everyone. Again, as Janice introduced me, I'm Sandra Rodriguez, and I'm a professor at Universidad Autónoma de Chihuahua, Mexico. And I am the current coordinator of Joint IUFRO IPSA Task Force on Forest Education. Excuse me, I just mix Spanish and English here in this presentation, sorry. So my first relationship with IUFRO started a long time ago in 2005. I was doing my master's on forest economics. I was trying to develop an econometric model to estimate the timber market imperfection of Colombia timber market. So, and since I speak Spanish is my first language, and I was very, very young, so my English was not that good. So I was trying to find dictionary or the synonyms that could help me to understand the terminology, the English terminology into Spanish. I found a really nice document on IUFRO, and they sent me the document to my university. I was in Oklahoma State University. I don't have the picture of that publication, but I'm sure Gerda knows what I'm talking about, and also Janice and all the IUFRO headquarters know about it. but it's similar. I remember it was orange, and I remember it was similar to this publication. That was 2005. So, and I was so happy because they sent me the publication for free. Thank you. So then I happened to find a traineeship in 2007. I was writing to find some financial support, but Peter Mayer in that time, he was the executive director. He wrote me an email back and he said, we don't have scholarships, but we do have traineeships. You can come here and explore what we have, our publications, networking with our scientists. And that's how I ended up in Vienna for 3 months. And I was having a really, really good time there. I was working on an assessment about climate change and also helping some translation services and some other stuff in the headquarters in 3 months. So, and also participating in the IUFRO events in Vienna. There's the picture of myself when I was young. Then in 2014, that was the year of glory. I graduated in 2009 from Oklahoma State University with my PhD. And my research was on social aspects of forest. I was working on how to integrate community values into forest management, and also how to assess deliberation and to use that deliberation process to grasp the community values and to be able to integrate them into forest management. So that was my dissertation about it. It was in Mexico in a small community. And that was 2009 when I graduated, when I finished my dissertation. Then I happened to, my supervisors applied for the ODRA, and I was honored with the Outstanding Doctoral Research Award in 2014 for the Division 6. Being there and 2 years before 2014, so I was thinking about, okay, what is that information that I learned about social science, psychology, because I use a methodology that I was using psychology to be able to do my dissertation. How is that we had all these wonderful tools and they're not taught in the university? They ask foresters, recent graduates, to go to the field and to work with the communities, but they don't give us the tools. Why? I was just concerned about that. And then during this Congress in 2014, when I got the ODRA, I just get into a session on forest education, and I was asking questions and this and that, because I was thinking I was working on a project to understand how social science was integrated into the curriculums in Colombia, my home country. So, and we were working on that with my colleague, and I get into that session, and I happened to meet my colleague Mika Ricola, and he was inviting me to be a deputy coordinator of the research group 609 in forest education. So I say yes. That was October, I think, 2014. And by February 2015, I got a call from Dr. Parrota, and I had to blame him for he invited me to be the coordinator of the joint IUFRO task force on forest education, and that's how I ended up being in this task force. And this has been the most wonderful experience I have ever had in my professional life. Working with the students, it has been really rewarding. Listening to them, it's important for us to do research, and their concerns have to be taken in consideration, because they are the futures. They are the ones who are going to be taking care of the forests of the world, and their needs to be attended. So we've been working in a lot of projects in this joint IUFRO task force this past 6 years. We've been training students in soft competences in different events at IUFRO events or IPSA events. Some of those workshops have been on forest governance, forest entrepreneurship, how to write research papers, how to use the tools for sustainable forest management that is an FAO, and several other trainings that we have done since 2015. Here are some examples, and in different events, we have been working with the regional office, from regional chapters from IFSA, in different venues. So we also have publications on scientific journals, but also some guidelines. So recently we published a guideline in forest entrepreneurship. Here is the picture from the English version. I'm sorry, for the Spanish version, but we also have it from the English version. And this is in collaboration with non-government organization from Mexico. It's called Reforestamos. And this networking for my personal experience has been really nice, because I happen to meet people from different organizations, government, non-government, university level, even primary schools. So, and that's how we send the word out about forest education. We also recently published a book to encourage students from Africa to apply for forestry careers there in their continent. Those are the new publications, that we have some others in different journals. We have happened to have a big project on forest education in collaboration with FAO and ITTO. It's a global forest education project that we've been working for 2 years almost, and the outcomes of this project have been rewarding, and also I think that they have been very important for forest education around the globe. This project was one of the sub-projects of this big project. It's a survey of how forest education is, how about the knowledge on forest on primary up to tertiary education. And results are going to be published soon in the FAO website. I'm just giving here a picture of the website. And for my personal experience, as I said, it's been a lot of networking. I've been learning a lot from the students, believe me or not, but they are savvy on how to use technology, and they have teaching me a lot of things on technology, and that is, for me, is wonderful. So I had to keep up on my skills to be, on the same page talking to them. We have organized a lot of events, and also have developed skills that I never know I will develop, or projects that I never know I will be part of. And that is pretty much my experience with IUFRO, and I really thank all the IUFRO headquarters, because when I was there, I had a wonderful time, and they are still there, and they helping me a lot. Janice was our deputy coordinator once from the IPSA when she was IPSA student. And well, what I can say that for my research experience and my research career, IUFRO has been the best place I ever landed. And I hope I can continue my work with them. And I hope the students understand how important it is to work at the global organizations, like starting with IPSA, for example, and then moving to IUFRO. That will be a good transition, grasping a good understanding of what is going on about the world and organizing events. And that is very important. This is
Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, one more thing that I want to share with you is that if we want to enhance forest education around the world, we want to work on collaboration with not only with research institutions, but also with primary, elementary schools, and university, non-government organizations, and there is a need now to be more connected to other organizations. That is all I have. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for this nice presentation, taking us way back to this World Series number 9, the vocabulary. We've got a lot of people familiar with IUFRO in the call, but I think I can drop in the chat box later this Silva term database is actually now your Sandra's orange book that she mentioned in the start. This is available still on the IUFRO website. I think with 9 languages, so English, Spanish, German, Portuguese, Swahili, Japanese, a few, and quite a detailed vocabulary, at least for the basic terms, is still accessible. And it was really nice that you also mentioned a lot of the interdisciplinary work that's ongoing and work with and collaboration with partners, Sandra. So I'm looking now for some questions to come in, but meanwhile, I would like to thank each of the speakers. It was really inspiring to hear your stories and to learn about the opportunities that led you to participate in IUFRO. And I'm glad also to hear that these activities really have been beneficial in your scientific career. Yeah, so I would welcome anybody who has an immediate question and wants to raise their hand, to use the raise hand function in the Zoom. And in case there are any questions that came in the meanwhile, I have a quick look at the chat. But I think you might still need a moment. So if I may, we'll take first one from Jeremy Allison. Please go ahead and take the floor.
So it's not so much well, I guess it's a question, but Sandra, so the working party that I am involved in, 7.03.16, is looking at launching a mentoring network for students and young people working in behavioral and chemical ecology of forest insects. And I'm wondering if you would be willing to meet so that I could pick learn from your experiences with mentoring networks and what you've just described.
Sure, of course, my pleasure, anytime. So I will give you my information here in the chat, so you can just grab me an email, and of course, I'm very eager to do that.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for the question, Jeremy. If I may, I was curious to ask the speakers, rather concise, based on all of these experiences that you've had and each on your own journey now in your career, is there any particular advice or encouragement that you would give to people who are just starting their scientific career, or maybe a specific path or a current opportunity that they might follow? I'm not sure if maybe Jennifer,
I
you'd
could
like
answer.
to...
I could give a very practical piece of advice, which is the very first publication that I was invited to participate on was an incredibly enlightening experience. I didn't know what I was really doing, but I knew I could write a literature review. So I guess if there's any skill, if you're willing to read and write and learn how to summarize literature, there's a skill to that. And almost everyone is looking for help, usually at the beginning of a paper, at the top, like the intro, or also if you are participating in a project or collecting field data, if you just ask to be a part of a paper or be an author, it's a free gift that someone can give to you. And it's really something that, at least in academia, you've got to get publications to be invited to the next thing. That my biggest advice would be to just start asking people if you could collaborate and see if you can join some papers, because then once you're on one paper and you've proven yourself, you get to meet someone else. It's a different way of networking. So that would be my advice, is to ask, because you don't get anything that you don't ask for.
Good advice. Thanks a lot, Jen. Veronica, please.
I would say that take your time to identify the issue that really arrives to your heart, that passions you, because to work in your thesis or postgrad studies, or getting involved in research in a topic that you really, really like, it will make a difference in your life and in your career. So I think it's a good start to take some time and to, do some shopping until you realize really what's the topic that moves you inside. That's it.
Thanks, Veronica. Sandra, would you like to add something?
Yes, I would say that participating in the congresses, national, regional, or international congress is very important. Even if you present your poster, it's the way to start, with poster, and be prepared. And also, this advice is for the Spanish speakers, because sometimes they say, no, I don't speak English, so this is too difficult, this is too hard, since I don't understand very well. I think there are a lot of tools now in the internet, as just Professor Cecil said in another event, that it will be really fun to be a student at this time, because there is a lot of tools to learn a new language. So it's an extra effort, of course, but it will pay off. So just prepare a second language, participate in the events, and also, of course, join us, the join of IUFRO Task Force on Forest Education. You're very welcome, students.
Thank you so much, Sandra. There was one comment also in a session earlier today that was mentioned, which was really that IUFRO is a lot of fun. So I heard the presentation about the work that was doing on this very complex thing, and then the speaker, she finished by saying, it's really a lot of fun. So if you like what you're doing, then you will do more of it and meet many people and really grow your network. And I thought this was a nice sort of token. So maybe, does anyone have an example of what kind of activities are ongoing now online that are any fun? Do you have any options for us aside from meeting in person? Maybe I will start with Sandra, because I know you just had a joint task force meeting talking about the challenges to learn forestry online, and when there's actually not so much practical and field experience. Did you have any recommendations from this call?
Well, yeah, I was inspired by what one of the speakers was saying about how to overcome online learning and not having field practice. He was saying that it is not easy, but it's something that we can do as a professors, to send students to the closest forest and to ask them to take videos and to take pictures, and they will come back with those videos and pictures. And then it's actually, that what he said, it was very interesting, very engaging, students sharing their closest forest, and they learn more actually, because they were able to visit more forests or forest areas than if they will just go to one forest in one practice. So it was, I think that is really fun. I wish I was a student right now, because I would have a lot of fun learning from different forests, from the world actually.
Thank you, Sandra.
You're very welcome.
Todd, go ahead.
I was just going to say that within Division 7, we've had 2 series of webinars, and there's a third one starting up on October the 13th. And one of the nice things about these webinars is, we get to hear some presentation from a researcher, but there's also an opportunity to reach people all around the world and have some conversations around what has been discussed, and then, carry on after the webinar and meet these people. So it's really hard doing things remotely, but at the same time, it's such an opportunity to extend the reach outside of a meeting room to the internet and allow people to come in. I think everybody has just about an internet connection these days. So it really facilitates and makes it fairly straightforward for people to join and learn about forest science and then talk to the researchers. So yeah, we've been enjoying those.
Thanks for that addition. No, that does sound like a really great opportunity. I think maybe I'll put Jennifer on the spot and ask a little bit, there's a lot of webinars going on, a lot of activities. And sometimes I'm wondering about following up with people after these kind of events and building connections. But I'm personally not doing research on a daily basis. What's your experience with different online platforms for connecting with other scientists or sharing these kind of connections after an event?
Oh, sure. Well, I think one thing I just learned is a few people wrote to me individually and directly and said, this is my email address. I hope we can stay connected. And I need to make it a point before I leave for the day to go ahead and do that. I also thought it was incredibly diplomatic too. I'm like, I will now remember you for just writing a one-line email. And in fact, most of the jobs that I've gotten have just been from going up to people afterward and saying, I think this is really interesting. Is there an opportunity? And then you'd be surprised how many people say, yeah, totally, especially if it's free labor. So I would say there's a lot of power in connecting one-on-one and sending an email. Another thing that I do often, especially with other young, it just so happens to be other female scientists, is I trade things that I write with other people. So they'll give me a document, I give them a document, and then we, it has a little accountability built in and getting advice, especially from people that are outside your field. We always use jargon or we assume we're very clear, but not until a colleague reads it and can tell you more gently what needs to change. In terms though, I think you may have been asking about social media. I don't know, but I will put in a plug for, if you guys are familiar with FLARE, which is a network, which is the Forest Livelihoods Assessment, Research, and Evaluation. Doesn't roll off the tongue easily. They've been having Twitter conferences where you just tweet out certain messages of what your presentation would otherwise be, but you have to limit to 165 characters. So it gives a different type of spin on the importance of science or environmental communication. So that's something to look out for. But otherwise, I'm not really on Twitter. I think academic Twitter can be kind of rough. It's not cultivating the type of lifestyle that I want. So I kind of stay away from that. But I would say it's the one-on-one connections. And then I find it to be super useful to have a handful of friends that I could definitely depend on to read anything without their feeling shame about it. So I think cultivating people, especially at your same peer level or in your same age group, is always a great strategy. But I notice there's a lot of people on here that are older that have done this. So you guys already have your people, but in terms of trying to find new ones, it's just a matter of putting yourself out there, which takes some bravery and guts. But like I said, you don't get anything without asking.
Thanks a lot, Jennifer. No, and I think we're really, anyhow, an intergenerational group. So it's always interesting to hear in different continents and countries how people are connecting. We're almost out of time, but I just wonder if Veronica could shortly show us the background where she's sitting, because I thought this was one of the most exciting things to meet with her today. She told me about being out in the pine forest with her truffle dog. So maybe just a last word, Veronica, to just show us where you are today and what you're doing, and then I'll wrap up and move to the next segment.
Well, I am close to Santiago, to the capital. I don't know if you can actually see it. It's a bit too much light around. It's called Pirque, and on the back you see the Andes mountain range in one of the shortest areas, you know. And here we have this 3-year-old stone pine plantation inoculated with one truffle, tuberborkii. And yesterday, yes, we had the dog looking for truffles, and actually we found in 2 the first truffles very early on time, because it's a very young plantation. So we were very happy with the results and looking forward to the years ahead.
Perfect, thank you. We could really see the beautiful background now. So I think that's a nice breath of fresh air for all of us here in the Zoom room. I would like to thank...
You are all invited to come whenever you can.
Thank you so much. We would love to. So many thanks to all of the speakers and the participants for giving us some ideas about entry points to participating in IUFRO and the diversity of collaboration that's actually possible within the network. Knowing that everyone has their own specific interests and ambitions, I would like to invite you to join many sessions throughout the IUFRO World Day and hopefully find something that really fits with your own personal interests, and then to follow up, note down the email addresses and send a message afterwards to get in touch with those people. And relating to a fun way of connecting, I will pass now back to our lead moderator, Christoph Wildberger, for the quiz surprise. So over to you, Christoph.
You're still muted?
Sorry, yes, I was still muted. Thank you very much, Janice, and thanks to all who contributed to the useful cuisine, which was really very refreshing. The next item on the program, as Janice already mentioned, is the quiz surprise. And this consists of a few short questions related to the topics of today's lunch with IUFRO. The winner will have the option of choosing one of 2 prize vouchers offered by the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International, CABI, a non-for-profit organization for development information, which focuses primarily on agriculture and environment. And the voucher will be either for a free publication of one journal article in CABI's Agriculture and Bioscience journal, which is focusing on interdisciplinary research, or a CABI English language editing support. The quiz can be completed by opening the link shared in the chat box now, submitting your name and contact information, and completing 7 questions related to the topics of this session. The person who submits the most correct answers and the best estimate, there will be an estimate too, will win. We do have a time limit of 5 minutes to complete the quiz, but speed is definitely not a factor in determining the winner. Please be sure to submit your answers via the link provided in the chat box. And the quiz is now open. Only submissions completed in the next 5 minutes will be considered. You may complete the quiz at your own pace or follow as I read out the questions now. The first question is, what is IUFRO's slogan? Is it A, the global advocate for forest-related research? B, forest and forest products research for all? C, connecting forests, research and humanity? Or D, interconnecting forest, science and people? The second question is, which anniversary did IUFRO celebrate in 2017? A, 125 years, B, 100 years, C, 50 years, and D, 25 years. As you might remember, IUFRO is a very historical organization and has a long history. Which of IUFRO's special programs and projects manages the Science Assistant Program, SAP? A, WFSE, the Special Program on World Forest Society and Environment. B, the Special Program for Development of Capacities, in short, IUFRO SPDC. C, the Global Forest Expert Panels Program, or D, the Special Program Directors Forum. The fourth question is, which of these is not an IUFRO award for scientific achievements? A, the Student Award for Excellence in Forest Science. B, the Scientific Achievement Award. C, the Best Paper Award. Or D, the Outstanding Doctoral Research Award. The fifth question is how to find IUFRO on social media. What are you looking for if you want to find IUFRO on social media? Is it A, IUFRO_media, B, @IUFRO, C, IUFRO-3 research, or D, both the responses A and B? The sixth question is, which of the following IUFRO units focuses on advancing interdisciplinary cooperation in forest research? Is it A, the task forces, or B, the divisions, C, the working parties, or D, the research groups? And finally, we do have an estimation. You will see a jar and chestnuts in the jar. What is your estimate? How many horse chestnuts are in the jar? Please enter your best estimates. There is still, I was talking quite fast actually. There are still roughly 1.5 minutes remaining to submit the quiz. Please be sure to submit your response as we will be announcing the winner in just a few minutes.
Maybe I can chip in one hint for the North American continent, which is that this ruler is in centimeters. So if you're used to a different kind of scale, divide by 2.54.
Yes. Yes. There are still 55 seconds to go. Half a minute. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Yes, while we are waiting for the winner to be identified, let's listen to a nice piece of music by Priya Parotta. It is entitled Esmeraldas. And we thank Priya Parotta for this very kind pro bono contribution to our IUFRO lunch here.
Life has come and gone, and quickly this
Yes, that was really beautiful. Thank you to everyone who participated in the quiz. You have shown that you indeed know a lot about IUFRO, and in case you're curious, we will share the correct answers via our communication channels on 29th of September after the final and third Lunch with IUFRO session tomorrow, because otherwise attendance of tomorrow's session would already know the responses. If you're checking social media, please watch out for the hashtag IUFRO World Day. And without further ado, I would like to announce the winner. It's Jeremy Ellison. Many congratulations. We will contact you via the email address provided so that you can claim your prize. Yes, I think it's also in the chat already. Congratulations again, Jeremy Ellison. Colleagues, we will now start with our final menu item, and it's of course coffee and cake, and it's coffee and cake with divisions. This segment will consist of poster presentations in a flexible online platform to enable participants to discuss, interact, and raise questions. We have set up 5 rooms on the platform. Spatial chat, you might know spatial chat already. Unfortunately, the capacity of the space is limited, but I guess we're not too many people. And in case you're not able to immediately access the platform, we suggest taking a short break or getting a coffee or tea and trying it again. I'm pretty sure everybody can get in now. All participants of IUFRO World Day will also meet in our tea room, which is a virtual space for informal networking at the same platform. And you will find the link at our website of IUFRO World Day. And there is a rider tea room. And you can go there and meet other colleagues and participants in a casual setting. We are right on time in our schedule, and I hope you are as excited as I am now to moving to a really interactive segment now. I would like to once again thank all the participants and speakers for joining us today. And I'm of course looking forward to meeting you now for a chat. I will be at the IUFRO poster, and I will now pass over to Maximilian to announce the further technical details, how you can change to this platform, and say goodbye for now, but hope to meet you there. And I hand over to Maximilian now.
Thank you. Yes, as was already mentioned, we're going to move to a different platform now. And in order for you to feel welcome and to immediately know what you're doing, I'm quickly going to show you the most important function. And then you can, of course, move there yourself and play around. It has in the past worked out very well for everyone. So the moment you move to the platform, we suggest you first close Zoom, and that's why we explain all of the function beforehand. Should anything go wrong at any time, the Zoom session is still open, so you can rejoin the Zoom session, and I'm here for any technical assistance, especially if you have problems joining. Once you enter the link that we will provide, you will be greeted with the first window where you can enter your name. It's very easy. Ideally, you have closed Zoom beforehand to access the microphone and camera. And then you can just click join space. And once you do that, you are a little dot that can move around. You can also enable the webcam, then it's a dot with your face in it. And as you can see on the bottom right corner, there is a small zoom in and zoom out indicator. You can also move around the digital canvas, and you can move your little dot around. And one of the functions of this platform is once you move close towards other people, only then are you able to hear and speak to each other. So you can basically create small circles of people who want to talk. And in the lobby, you can also find the different floors that have different division posters in them. So you can find a plan directly in the lobby. And if you, for example, want to look at the different posters, you can just jump in one of the rooms. I'm going to show that. So you just click on, for example, the Jungle Cafe. Then you are switching to a different level. And then at the posters, you will find the presenters. So you can just move close to them, listen to them, ask questions. And once you have enough information, you can move on to the next poster or the next floor. It's quite fun to play around. The link should come into the chat now. Yes, so this is the link. So once you close Zoom, you can jump into that platform. That's the easiest for that there be no technical issues. If you encounter problems, please rejoin the Zoom session. Otherwise, have a lot of fun and a great evening with the coffee and cake in the spatial chat.